Tank Dell's first catch for the Houston Texans didn't count. It was this play against the Baltimore Ravens in Week 1. Even though an offensive holding play erased it, the toe-tapping precision and fluid body control were signs of what would come for the Houston Texans all year long. Making your debut against the Baltimore Ravens as a wide receiver is especially difficult. Not only do the Ravens put a premium on the cornerback position, but they also play a lot of press man coverage, the type of coverage college wide receivers typically don't see a whole lot of. On 2 separate third downs, Dell beat press man coverage with outstanding deep curl routes, and he ran them in different ways. Firstly, at the bottom of the screen, Dell is outside the numbers on the right side of the field on 3rd and 7. He uses a hesitation move off the line of scrimmage by keeping his right foot in the air and hopping forward with his left quickly so that he's ready to plant and push past the cornerback if he tries to jam him. The defender doesn't try to jam him, so Dell immediately transitions to attack upfield. He accelerates rapidly before stopping on a dime. That speed and sudden stop meant the defender couldn't stop his momentum as quickly as Dell did. That's what creates the window of space for CJ Stroud to throw into. Stroud's ball is a touch late, but Dell protects it at the catch point regardless. This was a pure speed, technique and awareness play from the rookie receiver. But at the top of the screen on 3rd and 4, he's going to have to make a move most rookie receivers struggle with. The cornerback is again in a press man alignment and doesn't jam Dell when the play begins. But you'll note that this time the defender doesn't gain depth to give Dell space. He turns with the receiver so that they're instantly shoulder to shoulder and the cornerback can squeeze Dell towards the sideline. The receiver has to create his own space here, and he has to do so by fighting through the body of the defender. He accelerates upfield like he did on the previous play, but this time he has to use his inside arm to shove the cornerback away from him at the top of his route. He does it perfectly, not fully extending his arm so that it's obvious for the officials to see, but rather using his shoulder to shunt the cornerback away at the perfect time. It buys him less than a second of separation, but it's enough for Stroud to hit him for the first down. That ability to not only use your upper body, but do so effectively as a rookie is unusual, and it wasn't a once-off. On this play against the Cincinnati Bengals, the Texans put Dell in a stack on the wide side of the field with Robert Woods. This prevents the defenders from pressing him at the line of scrimmage. Dell draws the attention of the outside cornerback who lines up square to him once the space is closed between the two. He's in the perfect position to flow across the field with Dell's out route. But Dell has the solution. He extends his inside arm onto the outside shoulder of the cornerback, then puts his body weight into the defender. He gets as close as possible to him so he can cut away from him sharply to create the space outside. This is a high level route, and it's topped off with another toe-tapping sideline catch for good measure. When you have the level of speed and route precision that Dell has, cornerbacks are more inclined to back off and give you space. That's what the Indianapolis Colts do here. Dell eats up the space between him and his defender quickly. Everything about his route to this stage of the play has been directly to the defender. He hasn't tipped off his route to the defender at all, and he's set up as if he's going to sprint right past the inside shoulder of the cornerback. That keeps the cornerback honest. He has to position himself and hold his posture in such a way that he can turn with Dell to protect the end zone. This maintains the space outside of the numbers that the receiver actually wants. Dell takes one more hard step inside, then explodes across the face of the defender to the outside. He's wide open when he catches the ball, and the defender is desperately chasing after him because of how fast Dell was through the break of his route. That's what gives him the space to catch the ball unopposed, and then he shows off great ball skills by catching the ball with his hands while turning instead of waiting to let it come into his chest. By doing that, he can stop more suddenly and turn upfield for the touchdown. When you have a receiver who can win when given space, win when aggressively covered, win before he catches the ball, and win after he catches the ball, you're talking about a receiver with the potential to be one of the best players in the NFL. That's who Dell is. That's why cornerbacks were happy when he just took the underneath route for a short gain. When he wasn't doing that, he was shredding defenses further afield. This play against the Jacksonville Jaguars is a similar setup to the previous play against the Colts. On that play, Dell used the seam route to set up the out route. Now he's going to do the opposite. The Jaguars have left the middle of the field open, which isolates the cornerback on Dell. The stem of his route this time doesn't go directly to the cornerback to hold him in his starting position. Instead, he releases from the line at an angle and threatens the sideline immediately to widen the cornerback. Although the cornerback reacts as expected by widening, he's actually set his posture up to run with Dell down the seam. But Dell has the advantage of not having to turn, and his speed means that the cornerback loses the race instantly. Dell is just too fast, so when he's left untouched, he's instantly in behind the coverage. The other defensive backs are trying to recover position from the opposite side of the field, but they have no chance. CJ Stroud should have led Dell into the end zone here for the touchdown, but he's a touch late, so the ball stops the receiver and forces him to make a contested catch. He doesn't score, but he makes a great adjustment to secure the big play. Adjusting to the ball in the air is something that Dell does naturally. He's an incredibly intelligent route runner, and he's incredibly intelligent at the catch point too. On this play against the Cincinnati Bengals, the defense is brave safe enough to press him at the line of scrimmage without safety help over the top. Dell easily gets level with the cornerback early in the route, setting him up to sprint away to the space down the sideline. He has a yard of separation in behind the defender when CJ Stroud releases the ball in his direction. With an accurate throw here, Dell should run away from the cornerback and underneath the ball before finishing the play in the end zone. But Stroud's pass is badly underthrown. Dell recognizes it early. He doesn't panic. His first instinct is to slow down and extend his inside arm into the defensive back. He's purposely stopping to put his body in the path of the defender, so when the defender runs through him and knocks him to the ground, he gets a defensive pass interference call. This is great awareness and understanding of the rules relative to the situation he found himself in. It's a luxury for a quarterback to be able to miss a throw and still move 45 yards closer to the end zone. That doesn't just happen. It's forced and created by the actions of the receiver. Stroud connected with Dell on plenty of occasions too. This touchdown against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers was particularly impressive from both players. The Buccaneers are playing zone, but the way the play develops, Dell is left one-on-one with the cornerback outside. Dell stops his feet at the first down line as if he's going to run a curl route. By stopping in this specific spot, he puts himself in position to threaten every possible route. The cornerback can't commit to anything. When he comes out of his hesitation move, he pushes off his right foot and directs his left foot towards the middle of the field. This encourages the defender to shift his weight in that direction. It's only a slight movement, but that's all Dell needs to open the gate to the outside route. His second phase acceleration allows him to blow by the cornerback and into the end zone for the touchdown. This time, Stroud's pass is perfect. It's perfectly timed and perfectly placed so Dell doesn't have to break stride at any point. Dell has that straight line speed, but he also has the ability to put cornerbacks and blenders in his routes. Against the Arizona Cardinals on this occasion, Dell perfectly sets up his corner route against a defender who started in a deep position. He pressed the inside route and got the defender to turn before cutting towards the sideline into perfect time. But instead of running the corner route, Dell stops while he's in the defender's blind spot and works back towards the quarterback instead. It's impossible for the defender to cover this. Dell is too fast and too precise through the break for him to recover, and he can't proactively stop it because he can't see him in his blind spot. He put the same cornerback on skates for a touchdown in this game too. Dell again eats up the space between him and the defender quickly before this time breaking to the outside. He rapidly transitions back inside by flipping his hips at the perfect time so the cornerback is sent in the wrong direction. Dell is wide open, but Stroud is under pressure in the pocket so he can't throw the ball in his direction. The timing of this play is off, so when Dell looks back to the pocket for the ball, it doesn't matter that he's wide open. His route is carrying him towards his safety and away from the side of the field where Stroud is going, so Dell has to adjust. He doesn't take any time to recognize that he needs to abandon his initial route. He redirects back towards the near pylon with great speed. The beaten cornerback can't catch him, and Stroud delivers a great throw. Despite Dell re-accelerating after running his route, he still comfortably adjusts to the ball in the air to make a great catch in the end zone. Everything about Dell is so fluid to the point that the game looks easy for him more often than not. Even a play such as this one, when he's wide open because of the blown coverage, highlights the seamless nature of his ball skills. Dell is running a corner route, and he's looking back at CJ Stroud in the pocket over his right shoulder as he turns out of his break. Stroud is mid-motion at this stage, and he knows that he's going to lead Dell away from his called route. Dell doesn't know that yet. It doesn't seem like much, but Dell has to flip his head around so that he tracks the ball over his opposite shoulder while turning upfield away from his called route. He makes this movement seamlessly so that he can catch the ball in stride and continue downfield towards the end zone. You'd be forgiven for thinking that was his called route, but it wasn't. He had to make that adjustment in a split second. Dell scored 7 touchdowns as a rookie. He can score from anywhere on the field and in a variety of ways. He's obviously a big play threat, but he's also an excellent possession receiver. When the Houston Texans were chasing the game at the end of the fourth quarter against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Dell lined up on the narrow side of the field against a defense playing prevent. Since the defensive backs were dropped so deep from the start, Dell had to extend his stem so that he doesn't turn outside for his corner route until he's past the underneath coverage. The first step he takes at an angle towards the sideline is the first moment he's out of the line of vision of the defenders underneath. His timing here couldn't be any better. The quality of his route gives him that small pocket of space to work in, and he capitalizes on it with his exceptionally precise footwork and ball skills going out over the sideline. Dell works the sideline as well as any receiver has since Antonio Brown, and although he's listed at just 165 pounds, he shows no fear or hesitation working the middle of the field. For this play in the same game, Brown runs a skinny post route over the middle, but the safety covering him has inside leverage from the start. The safety is the favourite to break on this ball, and at a minimum should be able to hit Dell as soon as he catches the ball if he gets in front of him. Dell is helped by great ball placement from Stroud here, but his ability to stop his route and change his body posture to protect himself and avoid the hit is critical. The safety actually only ends up dragging Dell down rather than hitting his body. Dell is in the slot for this play against the Atlanta Falcons. He's going to do what he's done previously through the stem of his route, and that's set the cornerback up to turn outside. The two safeties are dropping deep and the linebacker is pulled forward by the tight end underneath. Dell is in position to attack that space, but he needs to run with the same speed over the middle that he would outside the numbers. His spatial awareness awareness means that he understands when he has to go full speed and when he has to work to protect himself. He doesn't fear physicality at all, and will expose himself when he needs to if it means giving him a chance to make a play on the ball. He also has a great understanding of where he needs to get to on the field and how to get there. The mark of a great receiver is that he can take the option that the defense is trying to take away. Plenty of receivers in the NFL rack up catches and yardage by taking the space they are given. That's not who Dell is. This 3rd and 17 conversion last season is a play you don't see many rookies make. The defense is fully committed to protecting the first down line. Stroud is only going to have so much time in the pocket, so Dell has to run a deep out route to the first down line with exceptional speed. Moving that fast is one thing, but knowing the exact time to cut outside while doing so is another. The cornerback is playing outside technique with help inside. Now, it must be acknowledged he should probably be wider in his starting position. He's exposed himself somewhat by being too far infield, but he's still set up to stop the outbreaking route. He still has outside leverage. Dell repeated what he spent most of last season doing. He went in and out of his break too quickly for the defender, inverting the leverage in his favour when he broke to the outside. Not only does Dell get to the right spot in the right time, he protects the football at the catch point and then makes sure to jump backwards going out of bounds to guarantee himself the first down. That's a superstar receiver, and the Texans' offense is so stacked, he'll enter this season as the team's 3rd option in the passing game after the acquisition of Stefon Diggs.